What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Hit the Books Podcast, episode 32 here. Big week ahead. By our episode next week, the NHL playoffs will have started. Super excited to dive into that. More on the NBA playoffs and more coming up. But first, let's introduce my co-host. No Mackie this week, just Huff. So, Huff, what's happening, buddy?
What's going on, everybody? Back for another week, as you said, episode 32. Excited to get into, like you said, some of the NBA playoffs and look ahead at the NHL, what we're going to see for some of these NHL playoff matchups. A lot going on with the NFL draft tomorrow. A lot of some college basketball news that we're going to get into, some commits, some transfers moving around, a lot of stuff to get into. So let's cut the small talk. Let's get right into the sports. What do you say?
I'm all for it. Let's do it. All right, first up, men's college basketball. What do you got for us, Huff?
Yeah, so a couple transfers moving around and a couple NBA draft declarations, I guess you would say. Yeah, so WVU forward Sean McNeil commits to Ohio State after visiting with Louisville. That's one that hits home for me as a WVU alum. He was a nice little player for us. Definitely helped us on our, I would say runs, but we didn't have too many tournament runs in the past couple of years. He was a nice player for us in the regular season, Big 12 tournament, always coming up big in big games for us. But with just the situation that WVU basketball is in, losing a lot of their players to the transfer portal this year, it's going to be a tough, couple years for WVU. But best of luck to him at Ohio State. They're definitely on the rise. They had a nice year last season. But another big name in college basketball, Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga. He's declaring for the NBA draft. Don't really know where they project him to get drafted, but especially with his size being obviously as big as he is height wise, but as small as he is weight and kind of muscle wise, doesn't have too much to him other than the height and the reach on his his arms. He has like literally the longest person I've ever seen in my life. But I don't know. I'm very interested to see what he's able to do in the NBA, kind of what role he plays. If kind of like how Giannis, when Giannis came into the league, he was this really scrawny guy, and then obviously he hit the weight room, started eating right, and we see the player that he's come into, obviously putting on all that muscle and all the weight that eventually allowed him to become a MVP back to back. You know what I mean? Finals MVP and finals, you know what I mean, champion. So, I'm not saying Chet Holmgren is the same caliber of Giannis, but just interested to see if he's able to play at that weight class or if he's gonna have to, put some beef on the bones or see what he's able to do. But nothing else too much coming out from college basketball. Here's a interesting one that I saw on John Rothstein's Twitter. Houston, Cincinnati, and UCF are all planning to join the Big 12 for the 2023 and 2024 year. BYU has already announced it will join the Big 12 for the 2023-2024 year. So, look like the Big 12 is expanding. I mean, obviously Texas and Oklahoma are on their way out, but that's four teams on their way in. So it'll be interesting to see, if there's other schools on their way out or what's kind of going on with the reseeding of the Power Five schools. As some of these schools try to find their way in to a Power Five team from a division or from a conference. I guess you would say like, the Atlantic or the MAC. Some of these schools trying to get reseeded. Not saying any school specific, but obviously these guys like Houston was coming from, I believe, the American. I believe it's called Cincinnati, same conference, and UCF. These guys are all trying to come from that same conference and come over to the Big 12. Cincinnati obviously making the college football playoff last year. I don't know if this is for college basketball and football. I don't know if they're, you know what I mean, can do like different sports, different conferences. I don't believe so. But obviously, Cincinnati being the school that made the college football playoff last year, being the one that came from out of a Power Five conference, it'll be interesting to see what they're able to do in a school or in a conference like the Big 12 if they're able to, continue their success. Obviously, they had a guy that's going to be getting drafted this weekend in Desmond Ridder, a star quarterback. But it'll be interesting to see college basketball as Houston. They've been a powerhouse in college basketball the past couple of years, and obviously UCF has had their run in football. But it'll be interesting to see. I haven't heard too much on this. I just kind of jotted this note down because it definitely was a big news whenever I saw the tweet. But I didn't see if it's when or if this goes into effect. Obviously, all sports I would assume, but definitely will be interesting when you hear more about this. Obviously, like I said, Texas and Oklahoma leaving the Big 12. I believe it's that same year, 2023, 2024, but obviously with 4 schools coming in, it'll be interesting to see what else happens, if anything. So, not much else coming out of college basketball, but I know you had a couple little interesting sports betting notes that you found that you wanted to get into, but I'll let you kind of dive into that real quick.
Yeah, that's a big move for the Big 12, bringing in more teams. You got to think there's more there, more to
Yeah,
come.
it's just the fact that, I mean, I don't know exactly if there's 12 teams in it. I'm not like that into the seeding of all these or the conferences and stuff like that, but
I couldn't tell you.
um, yeah, like Big Ten, you know what I mean? Like there, obviously when they originated there was, but I really don't care enough to look it up right now. But it'll be interesting to see what comes of this.
Yeah. Yeah, I do have some sports betting news. Betly becomes the first legal iPhone application for sports betting in Arkansas. They've gotten their legalization for sports betting, but no big sports books have swooped in there yet. FanDuel and Caesars, it said that they're looking, but haven't made any moves yet, which is kind of interesting. You think, they're so into it, just it's a quick move on the application to a new state. I don't know if the regulations and stuff are tougher or what, but some random application called Betly.
Steph Curry just hit a fucking huge three to start this game.
Dang.
Nuggets plus 8.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now it is nice play, Jokic. 8-5 Warriors start of the game. Be hearing me commentate this throughout the podcast, so just so you know what I'm talking about.
Colorado having its second highest month for sports betting, clearing 500 million. 60% of those wagers coming from basketball plays, with table tennis taking a plummet in wagers this month.
That's gross, right? Like that's not.
That's pretty high. I mean, that's their second highest month ever, and yeah,
I'm saying
that's pretty damn high for most places.
no.
I mean,
No. I'm saying like that's like gross income. That's not like their profit, right?
oh, correct. That's like how much money was bet through.
Yeah, it's like funneled. Yeah, like that's how much was sent through the app.
Correct.
That's crazy. What do you think their profit was?
That's the thing. I have no idea what their profits are, but like,
Do they profit state to state? You know what I mean? Because the taxes are
yeah,
different.
because yeah, exactly. Yeah, all the tax rates are different. So some states are like 15% on some of these things out of the casino and like the taxes they have to pay, not, even thinking about the taxes, you and I as the end user have to pay.
Yeah.
So they're bringing in tons of cash from the sports betting. Their profit, yeah, is probably spread out state to state, but it's probably all grouped into one number, like those numbers I read you.
Do you think like one sole dude owns like any of these apps, like DraftKings, FanDuel, or is it like I know it's like obviously a business, but like
So yeah, there's somebody at the top usually. But you got to remember, these FanDuel now is, it's mostly
you don't
sports
think
betting, but
I was gonna
Caesars is a hotel chain as well.
yeah, but like
MGM,
that's what I
hotel
mean, like
chain.
FanDuel, DraftKings,
It,
you know what I
it's
mean?
har
Like
Yeah, it's hard to say if there's one person that owns it, because
it has to
even
be like a
starting these things
group
is
at
not a
least, you know what
one-person
I mean?
job.
That's what I mean. It's like there's you can't just start this.
Right. But how's this? Somebody has majority.
Yeah.
Like somebody has more say than somebody else.
Yeah,
That's what it
somebody
always
has at
comes down
least
to.
half say
Right.
compared to the other people, 3 people share the other half.
3 people and billion investors.
Yeah. Get 10 out of 10%. Yeah.
Right. Lots of good stuff coming out of the sports betting world. More states getting legalized all the time. It's all good stuff.
Let's get into some of this NHL talk. I know as we look ahead to these NHL playoffs. So let's get into this NHL.
Heck yeah. I got a quick little stat here. All Eastern Conference teams that have made the playoffs have 100 plus points. First time in NHL history that this has happened.
That is wild.
That's insane. It's so competitive. They're It's going to be a good playoff, I think. But you were saying before the playoff or before the podcast here, Huff, you don't have much faith in the Pens, and I got to agree with you there.
It's just the situation with Jari right now with the foot. I mean, obviously I felt a lot better about a month ago before you hear this news. and just kind of the way they've been playing of late, they've looked like kind of the offense has gone dry. Some of these games, only putting up the one goal or the one goal in Philly, the one goal last night against Edmonton at home.
Yeah, they're just breaking down, like Malkin getting suspended.
Yeah, you just have to wonder like if they run into Florida or the Rangers, and especially the Rangers, you run into Shesterkin, he gets hot. Like if this offense runs dry and you're playing a goalie like Shesterkin, you can't win playing one goal or scoring one goal a game. And I mean, you look at Florida, even if you rattle Bobrovsky and they decide to go to Spencer Knight, I mean, he's a first round pick goalie. He's sitting there. I mean, I think he's younger than me and you. I think he's younger than Mackey. Like this, if you're 21, 22 years old, you put in an NHL playoff game. Like I could tell you, I'd be, you know what I mean? I'd be make sure I'm ready. Like this
Yeah,
kid's
for real.
sick. Like I'd be waiting to take that dude's job. I mean, they obviously have faith in him to take him with the first round. I forget what year it was, but he's definitely had his fair share of games. He's not like a rookie in the NHL, like young. I mean, obviously he's a young player, but he definitely has established games played. So even if you do get behind Bobrovsky, Florida's a scary team, obviously up front. But even the goaltending, if you do decide to, or if a team is able to rattle Bobrovsky, they go to Spencer Knight. I think that team is just exactly the spark they would need.
I think you're right. It's gonna be
I don't
it's
think
gonna be
they'll go out.
interesting.
I don't think they'll go out easy though.
It shouldn't ever happen like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
but
not set up to be like that, but it happens. So who knows? I'm really worried.
we'll have to see. I mean, you just like I said, Rangers or Florida.
They're top tier right now.
DeSmith, if he has to start, he better be on.
Yeah, he's got
And
to
the
prepare.
Rangers, and the Rangers look good. Obviously, Florida's Florida, so the Penguins are gonna have our hands full.
I'm ready for it though. It's gonna be an interesting playoff otherwise.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. Let's get into some of these other matchups.
Here, I got a couple other things. Couple other little things here. Alex Ovechkin leaves the game with an upper body injury versus the Maple Leafs on Sunday, tripping over their goaltender's stick after failing to score on a breakaway attempt. Left arm and shoulder made contact with the boards. He said he'll see how he's feeling for the playoff opener, so we won't see him here for the rest of the regular season. These 1 or 2 games they may have left.
Yeah, it's just I feel like it's weird whenever you see Ovechkin get hurt because like I feel like he's never hurt.
I totally agree with that.
But I didn't see the video. I did hear about this before you saying that, but I think he'll be good to go for playoffs. Obviously, him saying like kind of hanging it up for the season. He knows the Capitals are in the situation they're in the standings, that they're in the playoffs, obviously. So I think he's just kind of waiting and taking some rest. Obviously, he's not the youngest player anymore, so I think a couple days rest isn't going to hurt him.
Absolutely going to help. I think that's actually the best thing for him. And another thing, the Tampa Bay Lightning visited the White House to celebrate their Stanley Cup victory with President Biden. And President Biden, when referring to the commissioner, Gary Bettman, called him Gary Batman. I love it. Like, that cracks me up.
You just gotta play the clip.
I want to thank Commissioner Gary Batman and for being here as well. And at the risk of stating the obvious here, it's a pretty good time to be in a sports fan.
All the Lightning players were just cracking up behind him. They all heard it. Like,
My question is, why did they wait so long to go? You
it's
know
a
what I
good
mean?
question. I really don't know the answer to that.
You're telling me he can't find like 3 hours to meet with them like 6 months ago?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right before the next playoff.
Yeah, like
It's
why are
kind of
they
weird.
doing it before the playoffs a year later? You think it would be like how the Super Bowl players go straight to Disney World? Like, I'm not saying you want to go straight
Yeah.
to the White House after you win the cup. Like, I want to party for like a week, but like, I think it should be like a week later. Like, all right, let's go meet the president, do this, and get on with our, you know what I mean, summer or whatever. Like, yeah, I guess it would be summer when you win the cup. It's summer.
Yeah, it'd be easily the best time to do it, but
I don't know. That
they
just
did
never
it on
made
the
sense
back
to me,
half of it.
but that is so funny that he called him Batman. I didn't hear that until you told me that.
That's funny. All right, playoff talk. Sunday, last day of the regular season, May 1st. If the playoffs started today, here are the matchups that we got in the Eastern Conference: the Florida Panthers versus the Washington Capitals, the Carolina Hurricanes versus the Boston Bruins, Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the New York Rangers versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. Florida, coming in one, playing the second wild card there. I like Florida in that one.
We'll go with the first one that you said, Florida and Washington. The 1 seed versus the second wild card seed being the Capitals. Yeah, I don't see Florida having an issue with the Capitals, despite Ovechkin getting the rest if he does come back in time, but I see him coming back. Give me the Panthers in 5.
I was going to say the same thing. No issue for the Panthers here, and I said this is the definition of a 5-game series. I think the Capitals are going to be able to win one at home type deal.
Yep.
And it's going to be Florida the rest of the way.
A gentleman's sweep.
Yes. Respectful.
Yeah, they'll win this thing at home in Game 5.
Yeah, it'll be a good one for sure, though. I think they're going to be interesting games, just like every playoff game usually is. Most playoff games usually are, but give it to the Panthers. Alrighty, let's go for the first in the Metro. Hurricanes versus the first wild card, the Bruins. I think this one's going to be tighter than we expect.
I agree. Who do you like?
I do like the Hurricanes.
See, I think Bruins. In 7.
Wow, okay. All right.
I just think the Bruins are a team. Swayman is a goalie that he's kind of one of those guys going into this playoffs that I see, like, you don't want to play Boston in general, but I feel like he's a goalie that could get hot. Obviously, with as good of a team that they have in front of them, with Marchand and Pasternak and Bergeron and DeBrusque, the names go on and on with Boston. Obviously, they've had it for years. But Boston is not a team that I'm excited to have to play if, you want to get to the Cup. But, I see them having a deep run this season. And I definitely see them having not an easy first round with Carolina, but I see the series going 7, but I like Boston to come out.
It's a good take, honestly. You can never count out the Bruins.
Carolina you hate to say they haven't been there because obviously the past success playoffs, they just haven't won the Cup since, what is it, 04, 06, one of those years. Obviously,
yeah, something like that.
I was that young, so I don't remember, but I just think the experience with the Bruins, I think they're going to get it done.
Definitely see this series go into 6 or 7 games. Can agree with you on that.
I think if Boston at any point leads this series with 3 games, they win the next one. Like, if it's 3-1 or 3-2, I think they close it out. I don't think this goes, to a situation where Boston has 3 wins and it's 3-2 and Carolina comes back and wins in 7. I think there's no way.
No, I think you're right. If the Bruins do take a lead in this series, you can't count them out one bit. They got it for the rest of the way, I think. But if the Hurricanes get a good handle on them, it's all about the Bruins if they get hot or not.
I agree, and I'm
the Hurricanes game doesn't fluctuate too much.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a good. Hurricanes have struggled lately.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, a little bit. They're. You don't know. I don't know what to think now because you're right. They have been struggling a little bit. Now that I'm looking.
Yeah, obviously I don't want to sway from your pick, but I'm not trying to make you stay with yours. But I like Bruins.
Still like Hurricanes.
Let's get into this next one: Maple Leafs versus Tampa Bay Lightning. Who do you like here? This is gonna be the most hyped up series.
This is going to be easily the most hyped up series. I'm very excited for this one.
Back-to-back defending Cup champs versus the 60-goal scorer Austin Matthews, and obviously all the hype around the Maple Leafs and all the expectations they have going into this season. So, what do you like here?
I think Toronto chokes. Do you think the Lightning take this series? Hate to say it, but I don't know. I don't have too much faith in the Maple Leafs, and it's year in and year out. I keep saying that, and it happens,
Dude, I don't know which way to go with this, but the series goes 7. I don't know. I really don't know because this is gonna be a really good series. This series, I think, is obviously I said goes 7 games. Give me, give me the Leafs on a cheap overtime game 7. I feel like that's so Toronto to go to game 7 in overtime, but give me, give me the Leafs to end the Tampa Bay Lightning's back-to-back Stanley Cup running reign, I guess you would say.
All right, all right.
I don't know. I'm not confident in it, but I'll go Leafs. I'll go Leafs. I had a future on the Lightning.
Oh, is it still live?
No, I had the Chiefs
Okay.
winning the Super Bowl.
Gotcha. I remember that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not confident in that Maple Leafs pick. I don't know. All right, I'll go with it.
All right, you're riding the Leafs. I know you are.
Matthews. Matthews will score in game 7. Huge goal. Huge goal.
Yeah, he'll start it off and finish it.
Yep. Leafs in 7.
Clip it. It's gonna happen. All right, last game in the Eastern Conference, the New York Rangers and the Pittsburgh Penguins, our hometown team, against Mackey's New York Rangers. What do you got, Huff? You're going first on this one.
I'll take. So obviously, like I said, you heard my take on the Penguins earlier. This series, I'm not picking against the Penguins. Give me the Penguins in 6. Like I said,
Yes.
if they do everything that I said, they win this series in 6. Obviously, you have to, you know what I mean? Like, Mackey's going to kill me for this entire take, but, like, if you can get behind Shesterkin and they have to go to Georgiev or whatever his name is at any point of the series, you're going to score on him. The offense, you know what I mean? If Rust, Gensel, Crosby, Malkin, like, cut the bullshit, get back on your game. We've been there before. Like, Mackey said, like,
Take care of business.
I was gonna say, I've known Mackey now for a couple of years. He's just as scared going into this series. I know they have a little confidence because they've had the Penguins number all season, but I know every bit of him. Like, everyone has that little bit of like worry about their team. Like the same thing that we're having right now about the Penguins. Like, all
Right.
rain. I mean, like, obviously Fox. You know, obviously the Rangers have all stars all around. Shesterkin, Fox, like Panarin. You know what I mean? Kreider, like. It's easier said than done, but like if Gensel can have a great series, if Letang can have a good series, but the biggest thing is like the bottom lineup players, the depth players for the Penguins that have been struggling. Like obviously Dumoulin's not a bottom of the lineup player, but he hasn't been playing great for us. Pedersen hasn't been playing great. Matheson, he needs to pick it up of late. But obviously it's going to come down to goaltending as it does every year with the Penguins. And that's one of the issues that the Rangers do not have going into this year. Is we are going to be seeing the Vezina goalie in the first round if it ends today. So give me the Pens in 6 or 7.
I'm going to take Pens in 6 or 7 as well. And you're 100% right. Mackey is going to hate this take, but
Penguins will win. Penguins will win 1 in New York.
yes, they will. And they're going to split the first 2, and then
I think
Pens
they
at home.
I think they split the
in
second 2, but
playoffs.
Penguins go up 2-1.
I don't know. I love Pens at home. You know, the playoff energy that coming out of Pittsburgh is just unmatched in my opinion. I've been to enough playoff games in other cities and stuff to know like
Yeah,
it's
you've been
crazy.
to a lot of playoff games in other cities.
Vegas is the only town that I can say that matches, and it's because it's Vegas, right?
Vegas is like the most hated team in the league. Did you listen to Chicklets this week? They were talking about are they the most hated
Oh
team
my
in the
god,
league?
yeah,
That's funny.
it's crazy. Everyone was jumping
Just
for joy
Eichel, yeah,
for them to
but
lose, like
I don't
crazy.
know.
So I like Pens in 6 or 7. Honestly, give me 6.
Yeah, I'm not picking the Rangers, dude. Like,
No, I can't. Sorry, Mackie. Alrighty, that clears up our Eastern Conference chat. Let's move over to the Western Conference. We got Colorado and Dallas, Calgary and Nashville, Minnesota and St. Louis, and Edmonton and Los Angeles Kings. Let's jump into that first one, Avalanche and Stars.
I don't think there's much to this series. I think the Avs win in 4.
All right, sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't disagree with that because honestly, I don't like what the Stars have been doing lately. They're not impressing me by any means.
Other than Robertson and Hintz, I mean, obviously they have Sagan and Ben. Like, these guys get hot. They have a really nice team, but Ottinger and Net, like, they have the players, but I just think the star-studded lineup for the Avalanche is too good. Grubauer and Net, Cale Makar, you look around the lineup, McKinnon, Landeskog, like, you can rant it in, like, Kadri, when they're buzzing at home, they're going to be up 2-0 before the Stars can even think about it, and they're going to go to Dallas, get up 3-0, and then I think Game 4 they'll win like a commanding 4-1, 4-0. You know what I mean? Just solidify the series, and it won't even be a question.
I think that's a good take, honestly. The Avs are perfect. I think they're going to go really far this year, so I'm taking Avs, and I'm thinking 5. I
don't
do
think
the
that-
Stars maybe take one from them, but
I'd be surprised if the Stars lead any game at this series at any point.
that would be something. That'd be interesting.
I think the Avs I don't think they have any issue with them. That's no disrespect to the Stars. I just think the Avs are that good.
Alrighty, next. I'm pretty excited for this series. The Calgary Flames and the Nashville Predators. How about you go first on this one? Because I think you're going to be surprised by my take.
Obviously, the kind of very successful season that the Calgary Flames have had, and you look at a team like Nashville with a goalie like UC Saros and a potential Norris winner in Roman Josi. I haven't looked at the odds latest between him and Cale Makar, but obviously the year that Josi's having and all the great players on Nashville, this is a tough series. I think this is going to be another really good one, like you said. I think Calgary's skill up front is going to be put to the test with Saros in net, I think, and with Josi on the back end for Nashville. But this is going to be a really tough series for the Flames. I do not think, in any sense of the word, this series goes less than 6 games for either team. If Nashville wins, I like them in 7, but Calgary wins, I like them to win it in Nashville in 6. I don't know. I'll go Calgary in 7.
You were really reading my mind up until the end there. I love Saros. I think this is a tight series. 7 games, Nashville in 7. I think, they are going to come out and play like the Nashville Predators that we see most playoff years, and I think they're going to play well, and I think Saros is going to take them at least past this first round. I can't speak past that, but
I absolutely agree with everything you just said. It's kind of the same thing as the Leafs and Tampa one. I'm just like, I don't know. I think this is the year Canadian teams do good.
I like that take. I like that. I think.
Did you see what Big Cat tweeted?
No, what'd he say?
He said, I want to bring the Stanley Cup to Canada.
Oh my God.
He said he's placing a future on every Canadian team to win the Cup.
Oh my goodness. That's awesome.
So
I love
who is
that.
that? Leafs, Flames, Oilers.
Yeah.
It's not bad chances.
No, it's really not.
Those are
But
all
about
like
this series,
good teams. Those are all like good teams, but obviously the Leafs and Flames have tough first round matchups.
yeah, absolutely.
But
I
you
think
like Nashville in 7.
I like Nashville in 7. It's going to be a toss-up in 7. Like, I really think it's going to be super tight up until 7, and then either team is going to break loose.
This series kind of reminds me of the Boston Carolina one.
Yeah, I see that.
Let's get into this next one. You want to start on this one?
Yeah, let's do it. Minnesota Wild and the St. Louis Blues. I think you got to go with the hot hand right now with, 2 solid goaltenders, the Minnesota Wild. Talbot and Fleury. Talbot not playing well as of late, but Fleury, 3 consecutive starts as of last night, I believe. So I think, you got to be really happy with their goaltending situation and how just the options they have. I loved when the Penguins had those options previous years.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm right with you. I don't know if you made a game pick, but I like the Wild in 6. I think, and that's again no disrespect to St. Louis. I think that the season that they've had, this is just one of those matchups in the first round where both teams kind of have expectations to go very far in the playoffs. Obviously, Minnesota, kind of, you know what I mean, a long shot, not known for Obviously, they haven't really been there in the past. They've never won a cup, and obviously they haven't had a run, and I don't even know how long. But I'm excited to watch Minnesota Wild. I think this team with Kaprizov and, like you said, Fleury and Talbot and net with the options, and Jared Spurgeon on the back end. I think this team's really good. So I think look out for the Minnesota Wild in the West. But I don't see them struggling too much with St. Louis. But Binnington gets good, and Ryan O'Reilly, Jordan Kyrou the year that he's had, but you can never count out a team that's won the cup in the past 5 years.
Totally agree. Yeah, I did not make a game pick, so 6 is what I'm thinking. You got to think St. Louis takes 2, right? Like
at least 2. This could go 7.
Yeah,
this could be wild in 7.
I could see multiple 7-game series here in this first round.
This is going to be a crazy playoffs.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I mean, we're just getting into it. Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings. I don't like the Kings. Give me the Oilers.
How many games?
5.
I was going to say the same thing. Oilers are home in 5. I think Oilers, this is not necessarily a year that I like them to win the cup, but I think this is a year that they make some noise in the playoffs. Kind of, like I said, this should be an easy series for the Oilers with McDavid and Draisaitl, but the situation that they have in net with Mike Smith, who's kind of found his own, Koskinen, if they have to go to him, he's shown he's been shaky, but the Oilers should have no issue with this Los Angeles Kings.
I agree. Yeah. Give me Oilers. You got to think they're due. They're due to make some noise here in the playoffs, like you said. Yeah, Oilers all the way.
All right. Who do you like to win the cup?
Who do I like to win the cup? It's going to be tough,
Matchup. Who do you think?
Oh. Well, before I say that, I think, and this might be different than what I thought other years, I think the East is a little more competitive this come around compared to the West. I think I usually say that about the West. I usually say the West is faster, all that kind of stuff. I usually say you feel like you see more points come out of the West, but I think the East is going to be the team to beat this year. You got to think it's going to be. I think it's going to be the Panthers and the Avs. Like I think it's going to be just a 1-1 game type deal. Top tier teams just taking over. Who do I think is going to win, man? Give me the Avs. I know I said the Eastern Conference is the conference to beat, but the Avs just impress me.
I agree. I'm going to go right with you. I like the Avs to win the cup, so that means I like them to come out of the West, but there's a couple teams I'm looking at to come out of the East. Those 2 teams, one with a huge asterisk next to it, and it kills me to say it, but I'll say my one that I like first is obviously I do think Florida has a chance. Obviously, like I said, the skill they have up front, bringing in Giroux, the options they have at goalie. I don't even know if Ekblad's back yet, but they're like 17-1 without Ekblad in the lineup. Their best defenseman. This team is just so good. I think a lot of teams are going to struggle when they have to play Florida in the playoffs, but don't call me crazy if Toronto loses in the cup.
I don't think you're crazy.
I just think
but I like Tampa better.
If they get past, if they get past Tampa, they get Boston, and I think this isn't the same Boston-Toronto rivalry. I think
no way.
I think, obviously, like I said, I talked at the Bruins. I think they beat the Hurricanes, who are a really good team, but I think the Maple Leafs, Matthews scares me this year.
I agree with you there. The Leafs are.
They're just so
Matthews
due.
is
They're
scary.
Just so due.
Yeah. Right. They really are. Them Oilers are due, I think, for a little action. And the more I look at this, the more I keep finding my eyes pointing at the Wild. I don't know why. I think maybe they're just because they're kind of a little hot right now.
They could be like when the Blues won the Cup.
Yeah, right. It's going to be a great playoff, to say the least. But I do like Florida to come out of the East, Colorado to come out of the West. Bold pick. I like the Wild.
My bold pick's the Leafs.
Yeah.
Not to win it. I think they lose.
No. To go, yeah.
But
like
you would
that.
think the Wild would beat the Avalanche in the Western Conference Final.
You're not wrong.
I mean, you're not wrong. That's what you said.
Well, I know, but you saying that, like, it's
Yeah.
100% possible. So possible.
Dude, what if Fleury just, like, steals the series? That'd be hype.
I love him.
Because it wouldn't be
He's going to do well.
It wouldn't be against us.
No, right. Yeah. He's flourishing again here in Minnesota. It's good to see. Alrighty, let's jump into some NFL. I got something funny here. Micah Parsons did the ceremonial puck drop at the Hershey Bears game, and it was hilarious. He just walked out there, nothing. Just threw the puck in the middle and turned around like he was done. Like that, he did his job.
Someone didn't give him enough direction, and he has never seen a puck drop in his life. I didn't know he was from that area.
I didn't either.
I mean, obviously he's a Penn State guy, so it kind of makes sense.
Right. So after that, the Hershey Bears tweeted at him apologizing for not fully explaining what a puck drop is to him. Like, almost kind of made him look stupid. It was really funny.
Yeah, that's a bad look. I wouldn't have even done that.
I don't even know how he did it. Like,
it was funny when he turned around. He was like, "That's what I was supposed to do," and they were like, "No."
Cracks me up.
And Thursday, we have the NFL Draft first round, Thursday, April 28th. We're going to have the first round of the NFL Draft, obviously, as it continues on throughout the weekend. I love the NFL Draft, as I said. A lot to look at with a lot of how these teams in the top 10 are going to go. Obviously, how our Pittsburgh Steelers, how we think they're looking. A lot to look at, but the Jags having the first overall pick. I looked at a couple mock drafts, but one that I looked at that I'm kind of liking the most compared to what I've seen is Todd McShay's latest one. He thinks that Georgia pass rusher Trayvon Walker will be the first overall pick, despite basically the entire offseason so far. Aiden Hutchinson, the Michigan pass rusher, being the betting favorite to be the number one overall pick. Looks like the Jags are going to go with the kind of high risk, high reward player in Walker with kind of. I just feel like he didn't really show his full potential with Georgia, despite them winning the national championship, where Hutchinson has been known to be like the guy for the past couple months. But looks like the Jags are going to go with Trayvon Walker, and then the Lions obviously sitting at the second overall pick. I think if either one of these guys is sitting there in their lap, you have to go with whoever's not taken. So I think if Aiden Hutchinson's available at 2, you got to go with him if you're the Lions head coach. Dan Campbell, who likes to bite kneecaps off, according to himself. So I think getting a pass rusher from a guy like Aiden Hutchinson, obviously going to Michigan and coming to the Detroit Lions, I think that's kind of picture perfect, if you ask me.
Draft's going to be interesting this year. There's a couple good names here. You got it. Yeah, I like your picks so far. Can't argue with them at all.
Yeah, and then obviously you have a bunch of garbage teams picking 3rd, 4th, 5th. Texans, Jets, Giants going 3rd, 4th, 5th. Panthers 6 overall. According to McShay, looking to go offensive line instead of the projected quarterback round. As a lot of people were thinking Pickett could fall in this position. I'm seeing a lot of situations where the Steelers could be the first team to take a quarterback, so it's going to be interesting to see who they go with. I'm hearing a lot of people say if they do go the Malik Willis route at 20, or Ritter, or any of the quarterbacks other than Pickett, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, is this the next situation?" Like when they passed up on Dan Marino, and no, it's not. I'll be the first to. I don't know if I'll be the first to say, but it's not. Kenny Pickett, he might have broken Dan Marino's records, but I think Pickett will be a nice quarterback in the NFL. Nothing crazy, but I don't think he's deserving the 6th overall pick, and I think the Panthers are kind of starting to realize that in the idea of going with the offensive line and maybe trying to sign a free agent quarterback. I don't know who necessarily is on their depth chart right now, but a situation that interests me is the Atlanta Falcons, sitting at the 8th overall pick. Obviously, we saw Julio Jones slide over to the Tennessee Titans a year ago. They could be looking to boost their wideout position. Obviously, losing Matt Ryan this offseason. The Atlanta Falcons are just in a major rebuild right now. They could look to take the USC star wide receiver Drake London or the highly touted Ohio State wide receiver Garrett Wilson could go here 8th overall to the Falcons. So this could be a spot where you see either one of those star-studded wide receivers go in the top 10 to Atlanta. So it'll be interesting to see what they do at the quarterback position, but with Mariota, trying to get him some weapons, but it looks like they're going to be going with Mariota this year. And then the big guy from, obviously everyone was freaking out in the national championship when everyone kind of really saw him on the national stage was Jordan Davis, how big of a human being this dude is, just massive. I don't know his exact height and weight, but I think he's like 6'8", 3 something, like massive dude. He's looking to go in the top 10 at the Seattle Seahawks, obviously in another rebuild, getting rid of Russ, bringing in a lot of the assets that the Denver Broncos handed over with a lot of picks and stuff in the future and a lot of these young players. Seattle in a rebuild, but looking to boost their defensive line with Jordan Davis, the national champion from Georgia. Yeah, and I kind of got into my Steelers take. I'd like them to go the Malik Willis route personally, but you never know. Obviously, draft night brings a lot of trades, and we didn't write down any of the big names that are looking to get traded, but obviously Debo and stuff that we talked about the past couple of weeks with all these wide receivers that are, not necessarily happy with their quarterback or not necessarily their quarterback, their contracts right now. But you got to look. Maybe Debo gets moved tomorrow. A lot could happen, this weekend at the NFL draft. The Jets have been in conversation about sliding out of that 4th or 10th overall pick, maybe both to get Debo. You know what I mean? In a combination of what else the 49ers are willing to send with him. A lot of these deals that get made, I'm never too surprised when they find something. Like a lot of people are saying, like when Le'Veon Bell held out for the Steelers, it's almost better to just trade these guys and get what you can for them while they're at the top of their game. Because when they hold out and come back for these big money deals and you get nothing for them, I'm not saying Le'Veon has been a great player after playing for the Steelers. He's been, average at best. But I think, the NFL draft brings a lot of news. So look out for all the trades and stuff tomorrow night. But that's kind of how I'm looking at the top 10. I'd like us to go Malik Willis, like I said. Still iron the Browns situation with Baker Mayfield. But I want a quarterback. I want to go in a camp with Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, and Baker Mayfield or Malik Willis. But 1A, 1B, I'll take you. Whoever comes first, you're my guy.
NFL draft this weekend, going to be good. Yeah, I'm hoping for some good stuff here out of the Steelers. Malik Willis or...
They're going to go. I know they're just going to fucking big middle finger to me and just go offensive line. Which I won't be mad about, but like...
Right.
Just when you draft an offensive lineman, it's so like... you know what I mean?
Especially in the first
round.
round.
It's not exciting. But they're good, but it's not exciting. Like it's
right.
Like we drafted a quarterback. We haven't drafted a quarterback since what? Obviously Mason Rudolph in the 3rd round. But when's the last time Steelers picked a quarterback in the 1st round? Big Ben.
Yeah. Shit. It's time.
Dude, it'd be so fun.
I think it'll happen.
Little score up.
Little
score update. Warriors up 5. 6 minutes left in the second.
Nice. Let's go Bucks.
Nuggets.
Sorry, let's go Nuggets.
Bucks game's over. We didn't get that pick out. We had Bucks minus 12.
Yep.
Damn it.
Alrighty, let's jump forward. NBA.
Yeah, speaking of some NBA.
For NBA, we got Kyrie Irving. Says he'll resign with the Nets. And managing the franchise is now apparently a part of his job. Pretty interesting. Interesting thing from an interesting guy.
Dude, the Nets are a fucking dumpster fire.
Joke.
Yeah. If I was Kevin Durant, I'd pull in. I'd just be like, I've switched teams enough. I might as well just do it again. You know what I mean? I'd get out of there. I don't know too much good that's going to come out of the duo of him and Kyrie. Obviously, they've played like, I don't even know the amount of games they played together. It's like disgustingly low. And you can't expect to get, team chemistry and where each other's going to be on the court. Obviously, we saw what Durant was able to do with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Golden State. And obviously what Kyrie was able to do with LeBron. But that's back before, Kyrie was out on all this crazy stuff off the court and saying, like, not playing and only playing away games. And obviously that's, his stance on the COVID stuff and let him, do what he wants with that. I'm not going to, argue with that. But, when it becomes, he even had said after they got swept last night, he said, I feel like I was a distraction of my team off the court, and it was evident on, the team on the court. I would say, feels like the series that he had losing in 4 games to the Celtics. Like, obviously, the Celtics are no joke of a team, but obviously the Brooklyn Nets were the betting favorite to win the NBA Finals going into the season. They didn't win a playoff game. Like, there's something wrong there, and I can tell you right now, it's not just Kevin Durant. It's a lot going on with Kyrie Irving, and I just don't see too much upside with this team. And obviously what's going on with Ben Simmons and him now saying there's like some mental stuff going on with not allowing his back to heal, and him and his agent are going to work with the Nets. Like, I would get out of that team. I just don't see too much good ever coming out of Brooklyn right now.
Yeah, honestly, Celtics sweeping the Nets, they're a powerhouse. The Nets are just falling
Celtics are
apart.
sick. Like, that's, like I said, no disrespect to the Celtics, but like they're really good. They're the best defensive team in the league. And I mean, if you watch any game of that series, like, people that aren't even basketball fans, you can watch that and be like, "Holy shit, is this team that good?" And you're like, "Yeah, they're the best." Obviously,
See him going.
the series that Tatum had, like, the buzzer beater was sick. Boston definitely has a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. I see him going pretty far here in this playoff. What else we got? Suns guard Devin Booker is eyeing a potential return to Game 6 of the series versus the Pelicans. Booker expected to be initially ruled out of Game 6, but considered questionable before tip-off. Suns leading the series 3-2.
Yeah, we saw the Suns last night not struggle too much with the Pelicans. Early on in the series, we saw, Alvarado, the young kind of pesty player, rookie, but, guys like McCollum and on the Pelicans, Brandon Ingram's having a great series. They're putting up a fight, but, I think the Suns going to New Orleans for Game 6. I think they have to close this thing out in 6. I don't know if the game's tomorrow night or Friday, but I think the Suns get this job done in 6 games. I think their plan right now is Booker, if they lose Game 6, Booker plays in Game 7 at home. I don't think he's going to play in Game 6.
All right. No Game 6 for him?
I mean, with the hearing that he's going to initially be ruled out, like, why would they go from out to bat? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I just feel like if he's out, it's on the road. Like, if they feel like they're the better team and they feel like they can win, obviously, like, you can't ever overlook a team and go into be like, oh yeah, we'll win in Game 7. Like, it's Game 7, anything can happen. Any sport.
You're very right. Alrighty, next, Jazz guard Donovan Mitchell's MRI comes back negative on his left hamstring. Sources tell Adrian Wojnarowski that there is optimism that Mitchell is able to play in Game 6 on Thursday at home against the Mavs. Mavs leading the series 3-2. Similar to that other series. What do you got? What do you think of?
I think same as the other series. I think the Mavericks get the job done in 6. Going back to, this game is in Utah. I do think Dallas goes on the road and gets a win here, same as Phoenix. I think both teams get the job done in 6. Luka back. I think Dallas looks good right now.
Good stuff. More out of the NBA. They're fining the 76ers, Joel Embiid, $15,000 for public criticism of officiating.
That was funny.
Explain that to me.
He basically was like talking about all the calls that the Raptors were getting, and this kind of talks about it. But the Mavericks, Suns, and Grizzlies all had the chance to go up 3-1 in their respective series. I know none of those teams are the 76ers, but this kind of just shows with how the officiating's been in the first round. The Mavs, Suns, and Grizzlies all had the chance to go up 3-1 in their respective series. Their opponents shot 42, 40, and 42 free throws, all in Game 4s, all 3 in Game 4s. That just shows like what the NBA is kind of doing right now with the chance to go up 3-1. they don't want this series to kind of go that commanding lead. You got to look at maybe these refs are stepping in and kind of having too much control of these games, shooting 42, 40 free throws. That's crazy. And, obviously you look at Brooklyn and, Claxton missed, 10 in a row and then finally made one. But, most of these guys on NBA teams are draining, 35 or 40 free throws.
That's insane, honestly.
The score right now is 43-42. Imagine shooting 42 free throws. It's almost halftime.
Jeez. Not sure what to think.
That's just a crazy stat, and that's not a good look for the NBA.
Yeah. No, not at all. Like we said, the Celtics sweeping the Nets. We also got the Bucks taking over the Bulls in 5 games, winning tonight 116-100. Couple more series got to get laid out here, but
yeah,
playoffs are
I
full
thought
swing.
the Bucks, as I said, I like the Bucks minus 12 tonight. We took it, but couldn't get it on the card. But we did have it, so Bucks minus 12 hits, and the Bucks move on, beat the Bulls in 5 games. Obviously, they had the injuries throughout the first round, but Bucks are just looking like the team that they were last season, as they are the defending champs. So I'm definitely excited to watch the second round of these NBA playoffs as the first round starts to finish up. And I don't know if it's set for Boston, Milwaukee. I think if Philly wins, I don't know if they do the reseeding like the NHL does. It all confuses me. I just kind of wait till they show me a bracket of who's going to play each other. But yeah, I'm excited. A lot of stuff going on with the NBA and NHL playoffs. NFL draft. Not too much else coming from me. How about you?
Couple little things. We're thinking about doing a live stream on Instagram of the conference finals games of us reacting to the game and such. Think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something the fans are going to want to tune into. Definitely, kind of bet the games with us. Can't necessarily listen, but, tune into the stream and, hang out with the boys, watch a couple NBA, NHL games, and make some money. I'm definitely excited for that. Something to get into as we look ahead a couple weeks into May.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. And if it goes well, I definitely think we're going to be looking to do it for some NHL playoff games here. Let us know what you guys think. We're all for suggestions and things you guys want to see. We're happy to listen and take care of them. But that's all I got, Huff. You got anything else to add?
No, got nothing else. I said NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, NFL draft lock coming up this week. Can't wait to get back at it. Episode 32. Have a good weekend, everybody, and we'll talk to you next week. Thanks for listening.
And that's going to do it for us this week on Hit the Books Podcast. Thank you for all the support week in and week out. Please be sure to share and check out our various social media platforms and check out our website. All the info is located in our link tree in the description below. And always remember to hit the books.